Hello everyone, this is Michelle, and today I have my friend Mal sitting with me, and I wanted to tell you about another dream that I had. And this is one that I had when I first started following Jesus several years ago. And I guess I should add at this point that I've always kind of considered myself a Christian, more or less. I grew up Christian, but I did stray from the faith for a number of years, but never completely was away from it. But, just growing up Christian and saying you're a Christian and then truly following Jesus, that's two completely, totally different things. And I've really seen that borne out in my experience as well. Because as soon as I really got serious and I'm just like, whoa, I read the Bible for myself and I started following those red letters in the Bible, that Jesus actually says for us to do. Because he says if we follow his commands, which are there in the red letters, he says if we follow his commands, he and the Father will come and make their home with us. And oh boy, is that true. It's really neat how that works. Anyway, when I first, started following him in earnest, I still definitely had some flaws, as I still do today. And one of those flaws was gossiping. And at that time, my husband would come home from work every day for lunch, and we would sit down and we would talk. And one of the things we're talking about for a while was this drama with his coworker. And this guy, he had this girlfriend, and they were both using some pretty hard drugs, and the girlfriend was pregnant, and they kept using the hard drugs, and they were having drama and domestic violence and, all this stuff. And, it was, so every day there was something new to talk about regarding that situation. So this goes on for a couple of weeks, and then one night I have this dream, and it remains to this day maybe one of the most vivid dreams I've ever had, and I'm so thankful for this dream. Anyway, in the dream, what I see is this guy that we've been talking about. He is in this cave, like one of those tombs back in the old days, and he's laying there on a slab, and he is dead. And I mean dead, like dead for days, moldering, dead. And a group of his friends were standing around him, and they were loving him. I don't know how to explain it. It was almost like they were praying, only instead of words coming out of their mouths, it was just love coming out of their hearts towards their friend. And the love that they had for him literally raised him from the dead. And he stands up, and there he is. It gave him life. And then I hear God's voice, and it's almost like the tone I heard in God's voice was a little bit like, you really need to learn about this. And he said, would you like to feel some of this love? And I'm like, yeah. And then I felt this just light come down through the crown of my head, like I was standing under a shower. And it was the most intense feeling I have ever felt in my life. Like pure white light that was also pure love at the same time. It was amazing. It only lasted a few seconds before I woke up, because it was so intense that, it was a feeling like if I hadn't woken up, then I just would have exploded into a million pieces, because it was so intense. I don't see how anybody could really tolerate that, for a long time. But oh man, it was amazing. And so as soon as I woke up from that dream, I knew what the purpose of it was. It's like, stop gossiping, and I started realizing how harmful our words can be and our judgmental feelings. That stuff brings death. But when we feel love and compassion for someone, and we speak that love and compassion, that brings life. It's really that simple. In fact, you can see some little experiments people have done here on YouTube. It's called the rice experiment, and I'll link to it down below if you'd like to watch it. But people, what they'll do is they'll cook up some white rice, and they'll put some in jar 1 and some in jar 2 and some in jar 3. And jar 1, oh, it's so loved, and it gets called so pretty and useful and delicious and all these things. Jar 2 gets cursed at and told it's ugly and useless. Jar 3 is just ignored. Well, at the end of the experiment, and I've seen several different people replicate this, what happens is the first jar is just fine, and the second and third jar look horrible. Because neglect apparently is just as bad as actively cursing people, probably. But that really made an impression on me, seeing that and just really thinking about some of the things that God has shown me about how powerful we are with what we project out of ourselves, what we say. What comes out of our mouth is what is in our hearts. So nothing should be coming out of our mouth unless it is love, unless it is speaking life. What I shouldn't have done in that situation was to have prayed for them, to have spoke life over them, maybe offer to help in some way, anything, but sitting there and literally speaking death over them. It was not okay. And I'm not saying that you should just be like, yeah, anything goes, go ahead and do drugs when you're pregnant. That's just fine. Because no, obviously that's not fine, but how we approach things like that needs to be done in a life-giving manner. We should never, ever please our flesh by just going, yeah, look at those people, and thinking to yourself in this self-righteous way, yeah, I don't do that. You're putting yourself above the other person whenever you gossip. No matter what it is, even if you're talking about how someone's shoes are really ugly or whatever, you're putting yourself above them. And what's important to God is humility. You want to be the last person sitting at the worst place at the table, not at the best place. You want to be the person washing the feet, not having your feet washed. It's all about humility, and gossip is anything but humble. So God told me with that dream, he's like, cut it out. No, he did not want me doing that, and I'm so thankful for it. And not only am I thankful that I would just cut off from gossiping with that dream, but I'm also thankful I got to feel his love, because it's amazing. And you could come at me with so many different arguments, arguing against the existence of God or whatever, and I'd never believe you, because that one experience, it just showed me who he was. And yeah, nothing can ever take that from me. So that's really amazing to me. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Just to sum it up, just speak life. Your words are powerful. Your words are powerful, powerful. Love people. That love is powerful. All of creation is groaning for the manifestation of the sons of God. If you're like me and you ever sit there and go, man, why do animals eat each other? Why is there this suffering and stuff like that, on the earth? And a big part of the reason is that we're creating situations that are not ideal, because we're not using the power that God has given us to speak life into situations, to bring the kingdom of heaven here on earth. And we can manifest the kingdom of heaven if you are in alignment with Jesus, and you're in a state of praise and you feel love and compassion for other people, so one of the things that can happen is someone could be sick and walk into your house and just be healed from walking into your house and being in that presence, being in that environment of the kingdom of heaven. I have seen that happen. It's an amazing place to be. It is a very difficult place to stay in because this world wants to just drag you down. You turn on the news and you see this bad thing and that bad thing. Oh, look at what the right wing people are doing. Look at what the left wing people are doing. And it's all geared to cause you to want to judge and to cause you to feel outrage and feel everything except compassion and love and, bringing that kingdom. It just puts you straight out of alignment with God. So be aware, walk through life with your eyes open, thinking, yes, I want to bring the kingdom. Ask God to help you bring the kingdom each and every day, that he flows through you into the lives of other people. It's an amazing thing. He's amazing. Anyway, you are so incredibly loved, and I wish many, many, many blessings on you today. Be well.